Jeff Stanek here with Figured Out Baseball. I've got my Southeastern Community College t-shirt on today. Shout out to Justin Schulte and the crew up there. If you'd like me to wear a shirt from your organization on one of these videos, shoot me a direct message and we can talk. Maybe we can trade a Figured Out Baseball shirt. We ran a couple interesting polls on Figured Out Baseball last week that I wanted to share with you and sort of break down for you today. The first one asked coaches if they'd rather recruit players who played multiple sports or players that played just a single sport. 81% of the coaches that responded said they'd rather recruit players that play multiple sports. And this is important because the stigma out there right now, the pressure, there's pressure out there that you need to just play one sport year round or other people are going to pass you up. Or maybe a coach won't see you because you're not playing at this particular time, and that's the one time this coach might be able to see you. But the reality is that coaches would rather recruit guys that play multiple sports. And why do you think that might be? Some of the reasons are that usually guys that play multiple sports have more room to grow, right? A baseball player that plays football and plays basketball or even plays golf or plays soccer or whatever, usually there are things that those sports are helping a player to get better at that can translate onto the baseball field. And because they're not playing baseball all year round, there's more room, more of a ceiling for that player to get better. Whereas a player that plays baseball all year round, of course, he still might be able to get better in the weight room, and there might be some small things, some finer points of the game that can get better, but usually that guy is closer to his ceiling than the guy who plays multiple sports. Also, multiple sport guys offer some other attributes that coaches really like. For example, football players tend to be tough kids. Football players tend to be kids that a coach can yell at a little bit or can get on and can be tough with, and a player's not going to fold. Soccer players are known for having really good footwork, which is obviously really good for infielders, obviously good for base running as well. Basketball players, good hand-eye coordination, a lot of fitness to them, hopefully explosiveness in their legs. Those things translate. There's a lot of things that translate from a lot of different sports to baseball. That was something I thought was interesting and something that I think a lot of high school athletes will be surprised at, but I think it's really important for you to know that. As a high school athlete or as the coach of a high school athlete, encourage your guys to play multiple sports. It's going to look good in their resume when college coaches start recruiting your guys. The second poll we ran was for recruiting coordinators or just recruiters in general. When you need an impact player on your college team for next year, where do you go? Do you trust your high school guys that are coming in, or do you go out and try to find a junior college player? 90% of the people that responded said that they're looking at junior college players in that situation. What does that tell you? Obviously, guys are signing earlier and earlier in high school. You have guys that are committing as 8th graders, 9th graders, 10th graders, especially to bigger schools, particularly to Division 1s. But even Division 2s are getting recruits or getting commitments from guys earlier than they used to. That might be part of it, but I think a bigger part of it is that when freshmen are coming on campus, you oftentimes don't know what you're getting. Sometimes freshmen take a year or two to get acclimated to the level. There's a new level of failure. Guys are failing kind of for the first time, a lot of times in their careers. I've talked about this on some podcasts, but if a freshman comes in and hits 300, that's amazing for a freshman, but that guy has probably never hit 300 in his life. A lot of the guys that play college baseball are hitting 400, 500 in high school. Hitting 300 is a new level of failure and a new amount of failure, and sometimes that can take some time. Sometimes just getting used to seeing the velocity as a hitter you're going to see every day is a big thing for a pitcher. You've probably never been hit as hard before as you're going to get hit in college. Even if you have a great freshman year in college, a lot of times that's probably the worst year of your life. And sometimes, again, it's harder for guys to deal with that kind of failure. It's a different level of commitment in college. No matter how hard of a worker you are, it's a different level of commitment. So sometimes there is a bit of a lag for a freshman, whereas a junior college player coming from a junior college to a 4-year school, that guy's usually, obviously he's taken at least a year or two worth of college classes. You've competed at the college level for at least a year, if not two. They're usually more prepared to step in and immediately have success, immediately be an impact player. And what does that mean on the recruiting side of things? I think a lot of times junior college gets overlooked as a level that guys consider from a high school side of things, but think about that. Let's kind of bring this question or these polls into a little bit better light for you. As a high school athlete, if you go to a 4-year school, 90% of coaches out there are saying that my impact players for next year, the guys that are on the team for the first year, their first year on the team, the impact guys are going to be the junior college guys. The freshmen, I'm not sure what I'm going to get from them. That doesn't mean you're not going to play. It doesn't mean you're not going to get a fair shake and you're going to get a chance to win a job. But coaches are expecting junior college transfers to have an impact right away, much more so than their incoming freshmen. The freshmen, they're not sure what they're going to get. Okay? So what that means to you as a high school athlete is that if you want to play immediately, you have a better shot of playing at a junior college, not because the competition level is not as good, but because your competition is only freshmen and sophomores. You have a better chance of playing as a freshman at a junior college, whereas at the 4-year level, coaches aren't sure what they're going to get from you. You also might have an incumbent starter. You might have a guy who's been starting for 2 or 3 years in front of you at your position. You might have that if you're in middle infield, you might have a shortstop and a second baseman combination who have already been starters there for a year or two and are good players, and it might be difficult to dethrone those guys, so to speak. Much better chance of playing as a freshman at a junior college, but also think about that as you go to a junior college and you play as a freshman a lot, you get a lot of at-bats, you have more of an opportunity to play outside competition in the fall at a junior college, so you play a lot as a freshman in the fall, you play a lot as a freshman in the spring, you have a great sophomore year, you get recruited, and then you're being recruited to go from there to a 4-year school as a junior, and you're expected to make an immediate impact. So you have a chance to have 4 years of starting if you start out at a junior college, whereas again at the 4-year level, it's pretty rare for a freshman to start. Probably more likely to redshirt as a freshman than it is to step in and be an immediate starter, and that's just kind of the realities of playing at a 4-year level. So really interesting things there. Again, 81% of coaches polled, college coaches polled, said that they would rather recruit a multi-sport athlete than a guy who just plays one sport, and 90% of coaches who responded said when they're looking, they need an immediate impact player on their roster next year, they're looking at the junior college level as opposed to counting on one of their freshmen to step in and immediately take that job and be the impact guy they need. Again, this is Jeff Stanek with Figured Out Baseball. Hope all of you have a great rest of your week. Hope you'll check out the website, figuredoutbaseball.com, for hundreds of free videos, and also our premium section where we have the Real Dirt podcast series and new videos added weekly from college and pro coaches all around the country. Thanks again. Good luck to you.